morning, Naj. Thank you for joining the podcast this morning. And Chris, Naj, tell us your story about what you've been doing with the AAP initiative down at George Eliot.
Thanks, Jenny. So if I could give a bit of background, we love mnemonics in the NHS. So we devised a model that we've aptly named AAP. And in essence, this came about, we sat down and we took a long, hard look at our performance, particularly in ambulance turnaround, and we accepted that it wasn't where we needed to be. So we looked at a number of sources. We looked at the NHSE, reducing handover delays, Chloe's. We looked at a CQC patient first documentation, and we looked at some guidance from the Royal College of Emergency Medicine. And we sat down and devised this this sort of project/procedure whereby the ultimate aim was that we could offload our colleagues to free them up to go and deal with emergencies in the community. So AAP is acceptance, accountability and process. And in terms of acceptance, this really boils down to us sitting down and saying, actually, we accept that the biggest risk to our patients are those in the community without access to emergency care, those patients that have called 999 for an undifferentiated diagnosis, and they can't get ambulances because we're holding them in hospital corridors or we're delaying them here at the hospital. And we, as a paramedic myself, it was great because the whole team just come on board with that, and we accepted that from the outset. And the second day there is accountability. This is our problem. It's within our gift to resolve. And we talk about patient safety very broadly, but patient safety includes patients in the community that don't have access to ambulances. And we absolutely take accountability for that. And we do everything that we can with zero tolerance to delays to offload our ambulance colleagues and free them up to get out there to those patients in the community.
Super. So I mean, to be fair, you really have touched on that acceptance and accountability, and the acknowledgement of patient safety is our priority as healthcare providers. And a key is releasing the ambulances to get back out on the road to get to those patients who are in need and potentially have time critical clinical presentations. So tell me about the process.
Thanks, Jenny. So I think what the important thing is to develop these relationships between ourselves and the ambulance service, and that's what we set about by improving our own processes. Part of it is to look at the types of patients that are presenting and what can we do to avoid them actually coming here. So work with the ambulance service to provide alternative pathways and streaming to areas such as urgent treatment centre, to the same day emergency care, surgical assessment unit, and even early pregnancy assessment unit. So part of the work is to set up those and give the ambulance service direct access into these clinical areas. Then it's working with the crews as to the patients that need to come here. Again, giving them pre-hospital opportunity to call us if there's any doubt that, where to take this patient, and improving that sort of relationship. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So we're very keen that crews have confidence to call in if they're not sure whether to bring a patient to ED or whether there's an alternative pathway. And an example of this recently, which really avoided a patient coming in, was a crew that was called to see an elderly lady in a care home. They did an ECG which showed a left bundle branch block. They weren't sure whether this was new or not, and it was good initiative from the ambulance crew member who called the department. We were able to look on our system and confirm this was an old ECG change, which avoided an attendance in ED. So it's developing this sort of relationship and confidence within our partnership. And then once a patient is brought to the department, it's now our responsibility, as Chris have said, as soon as you arrive outside the department, we take on the responsibility of this patient. And so we have developed these slick processes to do this handover. We've prioritised an area and ring-fenced an area for our RAP process, rapid assessment and treatment. We put senior clinicians in there wherever possible through the sort of peak times of the day to enable this handover process. And it is, we take the patient, we take the responsibility, we move the patients and start the clinical process. And we've developed, as I say, this relationship, and it has started to, improve, as you've seen from our stats, our turnaround times.
Excellent. Can I just ask? I mean, you've been on an incredible journey, and well done. And it's really remarkable how you've really took the ownership of the patient and took the initiative to make sure they're accessing the right care at the right time, first time, and it really is in the benefit of the patient. But I can imagine it hasn't been without its challenges. So would you like to just explain or give us an overview of some of the challenges you've experienced and how you've resolved them?
Yeah, I think part of it was the mindset situation. So it's around culture and behaviour. So certainly from our side, it's trying to engage our team over here. As Chris said, the importance of the handover process, that this ambulance crew has got to go out, and there are other patients waiting for their attention and treatment, and some of the patients they will be able to manage at home or in the community. Some of them they'll have to bring in. So it was just explaining that, and to be honest, it wasn't a difficult process. I think our team were all aware of the importance of us in taking quick handovers and effective handovers. So I don't think we came across great resistance. Again, working with the ambulance crew, I think that hasn't been a problem at all. They've been very sort of supportive, and obviously it's in their benefit that we work with them. So it's been a really easy process from my point of view.
Super, Chris?
Yeah, so I would agree with Naj there that actually we anticipated some stumbling blocks. But what we found was everybody just came on board with this, and the whole team has just ran with it and really taken it on board. And, Naj has articulated just some of the processes that we've implemented. And we've done simple things like we have a dedicated receptionist that books in crews, because if we've got a queue of patients booking in, they can often spend 2 or 3 minutes waiting to book in. So we have dedicated receptionists to book in. And actually the culture element of this was everybody just came on board with it and really ran with it.
It's really encouraging to hear that departmental ownership and joint vision to release those ambulances in a timely manner, which, as again, it really does come back down to that patient quality experience. So what's your next steps?
So it's still work in progress, Jenny. We're still trying to improve the alternative pathways. I think a lot more work to be done there, giving the ambulance crews direct access to the same-day emergency care, to SAU and the early pregnancy assessment units, so other sort of areas. I think that's where we're working with our colleagues in other directorates. I think that that's our focus over the next sort of 6 months.
Excellent. Well, on behalf of NHSE and ECIST, can I say thank you for your time today. Thanks for sharing your journey so far. I wish you every success going forward, and as ever, any support you need from us, you know where we are. Thank you both.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.